building your business, right, there's really 3 ways to grow any business, period. It doesn't matter what it is, it doesn't matter how big it is, small it is, there's 3 ways. Okay? There's basically getting more customers in the door, or if you're a service business, retaining the ones that you have, right? There's frequency, getting them to come more often, and there's getting them to buy more when they do show up and buy, right? That's it. It's very simple. Those 3 things. If you can improve any one of those 3 areas, you're going to grow. If any one of those 3 areas drops, you're going to decline, right? So how do we get those things to do? So from a marketing standpoint, right, things have changed over the years. Obviously, we started with a lot of non-digital. This is still around today, and honestly, if you're thinking about like print, direct mail, things like that, it's actually resurging because all the spam is now email. You don't get too much spam in your mailbox anymore, right? So that actually can work well. Obviously, there's digital, right? And anyone who wants a copy of the presentation, let me know, and I'll get it to you. Okay? There's websites, email, landing pages, all this stuff, right? Digital loyalty, that's become big. Obviously, we know social media, of course. And then there's mobile, right? Now that includes apps, but also includes SMS. And really everything is mobile optimized. So even your website, everyone have a website here? Yeah, all right, does it work with a cell phone? Do you know? I mean, it will work with a cell phone, but do you know if it's optimized for a cell phone? Okay, so there's a couple ways to optimize a website. It's also not just making it mobile friendly, but a lot of times there's way too much content on your website for someone on a phone to look through and digest. So even having a separate version or a version that is specific for a mobile customer, get to the point quickly, and drill down. You really don't want to show too much information because people will get lost. And then of course there's something what I would call intelligent engagement. And this is where the next phase of marketing is going. AI-inspired learning, artificial intelligence, chatbots, advanced automation, and interactive communication. How many of you guys use an email tool now? Some email service? Okay, sir, what do you use? Okay, no problem. Well, there's some big ones out there, Constant Contact, they're here in fact, MailChimp. There's some great solutions, right? But if you wanted to actually communicate and get data back and build rapport with your customer and be able to segment them to give them more targeted communication, you cannot use any of the email tools for the most part that are on the market today, okay? You need something that's going to get that data and then organize in a certain way. So like, if you had 3 different products and you could ask, hey, what product are you interested in? The person responds, wouldn't it be great if that went into a bucket and now you knew that person was interested in, couches versus, desks for their office, if that's what you're selling furniture, for example. We're going to talk about mobile a little bit today. So this is no surprise, right? 90% of adults keep their smartphone with them, within arm's reach. When you look at mobile optimize everything you see there has to be mobile optimized today, right? It has to all be mobile optimized. Now, how do you mobile optimize print? Well, you see a lot of postcards around here. All the power team folks, you see that text gold to 26786? Well, that's us, right? Every text opt-in for the most part here is us. So what you're going to see, well, that's an interesting camera right there. What you're going to see is that is a way to mobile optimize it, right? To take a print and old technology, right, and get someone to optimize it with a text opt-in, and then do something with it, turn it into a digital lead, if you will, right? So let's say we have Lynn's jewelry store or stone store, right? And she's wondering, well, how do I get folks? There's marketing automation, there's phone, there's social media, email, chat, right? Offers, right? Everything, right? Okay, so how do you do it? Well, she knows she needs to grow customers, just like any small business, but the marketing landscape's changed, and there's so many options today, right? So what do? Well, there's a short list, a mobile-friendly website, right? It's going to let you capture, I'm just rolling through quickly here, but it's going to let you capture leads. She has to capture leads, she has to nurture them to customers, she has to communicate in a timely and effective manner, right? Ideally reward and retain her existing customers. So one thing's building a mobile-friendly website. So I'm going to hit these 4 or 5 areas, right? I'll roll through pretty quickly again, because we don't have a lot of time here, right? But the website obviously is your online brand. They should be visual. If any of you guys, do any of you guys use video on your website? Do you have video? Video sells more than anything else. If you don't have it, go create a video. There's lots of great folks around. I met some today. that you can use to get a video message out there, whatever it is, your product, your service, whatever you're doing, it's huge. People will actually be engaged from that video on your website. And this is what I mean by, by mobile. Most people won't even go to your business if it's not mobile friendly, and you can organize it that way. So if you don't have a mobile friendly website, you should. The cost of this, basically, there's lots of solutions out there that are good, from Wix or Duda. Weebly was just acquired by Square, actually. Squarespace, Shopify, WordPress. You guys are probably using any or all, not all, but a couple of these things are familiar, right? Any of this is usually $10 to $40 a month if you don't want branding. By the way, you don't want a Wix logo at the bottom of your website. Pay the money and get a branded website. Just like email, you don't want a Google email, a Gmail email account, right? Go buy the domain and go pay GoDaddy or whatever, $10, and get an email address with your domain. Don't use Hotmail, MSN, GoDaddy, or Gmail anymore, right? So then there's mobile landing pages. Well, what's a mobile landing page, right? Well, you have a website. Why do you need that? Well, depends what you're marketing. If you're marketing a special, if you're marketing something specific, if you want to create something where people don't get lost on your website, because you've got all this content and all this different stuff there. Maybe you have videos on YouTube. They click and they go to YouTube. Now they're gone. They're out of your website. A landing page is something where you have a single call to action. Usually a lead form, sometimes a button. There's something you're going to do to drive some people to take an action to get a lead. It's different than a website, right? And with some of the tools, you can do A/B testing. So you could say, maybe I have 2 different videos. Well, let's see which video drives more leads, right? Let's see which language, which content, which imagery, whatever it is. And these things will typically go into some type of CRM, which stands for customer relationship management or contact management, right? Those are things that you're just organizing your contacts. That's it, right? And email or SMS or automated process. A lot of these landing pages will go into one of those things, okay? And the reason I say that it's important to know when a lead opts in, depending on what the business is because there was a study a few years ago that came out and said you had 23 times greater chance of converting a lead to a sale if you connected with that lead in the first minute than just 1 day later. So imagine that, 23 times greater chance of closing a sale. So to close the sale, you need to be notified. You need to know the person's interested, right, on your website or landing page, whatever it is. That's where mobile comes into play. So these are just some of the popular tools that are out there. Typically $30 on up, sometimes more than 130, but generally in that range. That's what you need if you're going to start doing landing pages. And a lot of them, you can tie into some built-in automation as well. So managing your contacts, right? So that's contact management, right? How many of you guys have, now some company, let's say you had a health club, you're going to have a system to do check-in and point of sale and all that. But for those of you that don't, do you use any contact management system now? Or you just keep track of stuff on paper and Excel or something like that, right? So you want to have some solution, you keep things organized. Even this show today, right? You're going to meet people, network with people. What are you going to do with all those business cards? They should go somewhere so you can keep them organized, okay? That's really important. Some of these are free. We actually use a tool called HubSpot. It's completely free as a CRM. It's a great tool. Their marketing solutions are hundreds of dollars a month, but for a CRM, just to manage contacts, it's totally free. So what to look for? It needs to be easy to use. Integration to other service providers, right? There's just a few choices right there. And like I said, typically from 0 to, Salesforce. I've been a Salesforce client back in the day for a long time. It's overkill for 98% of businesses. Too confusing, too complicated, too expensive. But there's other tools, Zoho and Sage and Sugar and HubSpot, that are better options today. And then there's email marketing, right? So we have a few people doing email marketing, right? Using an email marketing tool. I don't mean out of your Gmail. I mean, right? Doing an email marketing tool. Well, it's usually a cheap way to communicate. The problem is only 1 in 4 people ever open an email, ever. So if you build a beautiful email, you've got content, it took you a day or 2 to put it together, and then you send it out and 3/4 of the people never even see it. And the people that do see it, basically, 6 hours later on average. Now, you need email. You should be doing it. There's no question about it. But it's not the only thing, right? There's social media, there's email, there's text communication. All these things are things you should be looking at doing. With an email, like what's the email tool? Is it easy to create these emails? Can you do content in them? Can you do responsive communication? Most do not. All right, some of these are free. MailChimp is a zero cost option. My personal favorite for email is Constant Contact, actually. If you're doing purely email, you have to pay a little bit, but it's got the nicest email builder until our new product comes along, that is, which we'll talk about in a minute. But it's a good product. All these are good companies, actually, right? So then there's text communication and marketing. Any of you guys do any text? You're not getting it? There we go. Okay. All right. So what text communication is essentially is you have a number and you have a word. And that word basically is mapped to your account. So when someone texts your word to a number, that's how someone like MindMe, like our company, we route it to your account. That's how we know who you are and who's interested in you. And then you can have automated communication come off of that, right? So the best part about text is 95% are open in 15 minutes. So like an event like today about like speaking at 2:30, which would have been nice to know, right? That would have been great if people could have texted and actually said, hey, we're having an event in 15 minutes, come on. You get a much better chance of people seeing it with a text message than an email, for example, or social media, for that matter. So key considerations is, how can you use it to enhance all of your marketing? Here's an example of text tied to a landing page. So it goes right to your page, right to your message. In this case, capturing a lead. But it could be something else. It could be a button. It could be a map to your restaurant. It could be an offer, like a coupon, whatever it is. Okay, and there's different things to look for. Some tools offer a short code. That's MindMe, that's us. Some offer a short code. Some offer a regular phone number. There's advantages and disadvantages of each, and I won't bore you with it, but you guys can check it out over at our booth afterward if you want. And then there's marketing automation. So do any of you guys do any marketing automation where people get it nurtured over a period of time with communication now? So basically, here's an example where you would have like a trigger. A trigger could be an opt-in. A trigger could be someone redeems an offer. Really anything that could be a birthday, someone's birthday, whatever it is. And then you're building a series of communication that are automated, right? You don't have to plan a campaign, it automatically happens, right? And it's used to educate and engage and increase the value and upside, typically. So what to look for in this? Well, there's some popular solutions. They tend to be a little expensive. $25 is expensive, but it starts going up from there pretty quickly. And you want this to be connected to your landing page, to your contact manager. All these things have to talk, and that's usually the problem, right? Most of them don't communicate, but don't talk to one another. So here's an example. This is an old version of PowerPoint. It doesn't look like this on my slide. But basically, it goes from 3 days, let's say, to 30, let's say to 90. And you can build an automated communication flow, and you can have links to other things, to your, a YouTube channel, to your social media, to a landing page, whatever it is, to capture. And then, of course, there's promotions and loyalty as well. So dealing with, like a loyalty program. If you go to the bagel shop and you enter your phone number, well, they know if you don't come, and they're going to give you an offer, right? Well, you could do that if you're not a brick and mortar business. You could do that as well. It's 5 times more expensive to earn a new customer than retaining your existing one, right? Which is key. So here's an example of sending someone an offer, and they come in and they redeem it, and then boom. So there are some tools out there that are specific to that have a loyalty program, Belly, Perka, Square, for example. And it's all based on capturing those contacts and then putting in a system to be able to communicate and market to them. But it can be expensive. And then the next thing really is key is, there's a couple cool technologies like account count. Have any of you guys ever seen like the ticker like in your email? It'll like promote like Macy's or Bloomingdale's. You'll see like a little ticker going along the way. Well, that creates like a sense of urgency, right? Like it's a scarcity. Basically, oh my God, I got to get this before it runs out, right? Well, there are tools that you can get, some free, some at a small cost, and you can add that code to your email, and then to any email that you're doing, as far as email marketing. So it is usually $0 to $69 or so. And then the other piece is chat. Now, Facebook just shut some of this down recently, right? I guess they're in a little hot water. So they shut some of this down, so some of these don't even exist anymore. You can't add new ones. But where this is, it's going to chat with Messenger, right? So Messenger, Facebook Messenger is just another way to connect to your audience, right? It's a great way. We're looking at adding that capability to our platform. But it's something that, again, you can build that personal one-on-one communication with someone, right? And if you tie it with automation and AI, artificial intelligence, you can have a bot respond that says, hey, what are you interested in? Oh, I'd like to book an appointment. And then send you links up to your calendar, your schedule, and they can book it. So some of these things over time, it's going to get more advanced, where it'll do some of the work for you. Because obviously you're all here right now, you can't be responding to a chat coming in. And people expect a response, right? Or they'll go to the next person. So all these technologies, the whole point of all this stuff is, where do you start with all this stuff? It's really, really challenging, more so than any other time. There's great tools that never existed, but it's hard. There's a lot of stuff. So this is just an example of all the types of tools that you might need to connect to and work with and have to talk to one another, right? And then you have to pay for it all. It gets pricey, adding all this stuff up, right? Now you don't have to do all these things, but obviously you're doing at least 3 or 4 of these things, right? Or should be, as you grab. So what if there was a better way? Punchline there. What if there's one solution to do it all? So do your contact management, your email marketing, your text marketing, landing pages, automation, right? Promotions, loyalty, chat, all this stuff. Well, we have a parent platform that does a few of these things now, and our new version, you might see a little card somewhere in there, but our new version is actually coming out, and we're going to have a free beta of it, right? So you guys, anyone who opts in, can actually get a free beta when it's ready, and we'll actually have a permanent free version also that does some of that contact management for free and does some email for free. So you don't need to spend money on these other tools. And then if you want to, you can upgrade and add other features too. Good. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Okay. Beautiful. So what is that? So there's some new features here, right? So, our new tool is lightning fast. It's going to have a mobile app for you to connect to. We're web. We're adding in conversations. It's our version of chat and loyalty. And basically, we'll have a world-class builder. So you'll just say, oh, I want to drag over a poll. And someone responds to a poll a certain way, and then you start communicating that way. Or you put them into a different group because they're interested in something different, right? So most tools out there, like text or email tools, are list-based. They're not contact-based. It's a fundamental difference, right? So you want something, in my opinion, that's contact-based, then list. If it's a list, you upload a list, but I could be in that list 5 times, 5 different lists. It's not going to learn based on, if I opened email A and I don't open email B, well, that new campaign doesn't know about that, right? It doesn't know my activity, doesn't know what I like or don't like. So having it all together can be critical, right? And so that's basically what we're doing. We're creating a tool here that's really a one-of-a-kind solution, all the way from free all the way up to most people probably pay $50, $100 a month for everything now, all included, right? And there will be a permanent free version, and most of you, that may be fine to do some email and contact management. It may be fine for now, right? And as you grow, you can do it. So if you're interested in that and you should check out our tool. If you've got a business now and you want to do some text marketing, it is the most effective way to connect to folks. Come on by, we're right over there, right? But if you're not there or you're not sure, then you guys should